In our last video, how to set up 95 watt high power PoE network system, we work with the power hungry device such like the LCD display and the NVR. The 95 watt PoE has taken the advantage of all 4 twist pair in the internet cable, while the legacy PoE only takes half of the twist pair to transport the power. With 95 watt high power, actually we can develop more application, which is not so possible before. This device which takes the advantage of 95 watt high power PoE. This is the PoE standard, which has 2 PoE output. We can still use 30 watt output from each of the port after 100 meter PoE. Technically, we can connect 2 PoE Pentel zoom camera. This is the 4 and 8 port PoE pass-through switch. You can either power the switch with external power supply unit or simply send the power from 95 watt PoE switch. It leaves us 100 meter flexible distance from the main power. The total budget is around 70 watt. Imagine you just have cable camera setup and running well for over years. One day your customer asks you to add some extra camera in the field, sometimes even the IoT device. Running the new cable could cost not only the money but also the time. With this 95 watt PoE switch and PoE power device, everything becomes simple. You just need to add the 95 watt PoE switch and PoE power device in the system. You got your extra port you need immediately. Now let's take a 4 port power switch for example. The difference between this 8 port and the 4 port is the 8 port switch works with the wide temperature. You can deploy this 8 port switch in harsh environment. This is the typical PoE camera system. Now I'm going to take off the connection from the existing camera and connect to the port which can access the PoE in this switch. At the other side, it's very important to make sure the port number 1 or number 2 has been used, because only these 2 ports can output 95 watt power. You can see now that this switch is getting the power from another PoE switch. Can we use this PoE power switch and power through the standard PoE switch? Let's just make a quick test. And let's move the PoE to the port number 5, but the other one, not number 1 and number 2, which only can output the legacy PoE. Alright, we can see the PoE power switch still getting power. However, the total power budget will become only 22 watt if this switch is working with the legacy PoE switch. Now let's just use this punch code to connect one of the ports to our existing camera. So we can see now the camera is getting the power, and it leaves us 3 extra PoE ports for our new device, and 65 watt power budget, total budget. Is cool, right? Alright, let's just watch. Right now the camera is online, still zooming. This is the zoom camera. We need to wait for a while before we get the right focus. Right now we can see the camera still zooming. It's just zoom out. Right, now we got a clear image. That's all for today. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe us. Any question about the PoE switch, please leave us a comment.